Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's May 5th, 2024, and we've been having some rain overnight and today, and so things are a little bit too muddy for me to do some of the things I'd like to get done today. But it's very welcome rain for all the trees and bushes that I've been transplanting lately. That's really helpful. And since I'm not overly busy, though I have a whole list of things to do, I thought what I'd do is take some time and just take a walk through the first food forest and show you around out here. And I'll do some disclaimers along the way, or excuses I should say. So here we are at the beginning of the first food forest here. This is the main road that you see me going back all the time, out and back. And around the perimeter, in amongst all the weeds over here, are asparagus plants all along in here, all the way around that perimeter. This is, I think this is one of our Honeycrisp apples here. And there's Bach 14 Comfrey around the base of this one. You can see the winds, where the winter winds come from, out of the northwest up there. And right in between those two buildings, the winds actually whip right through here. And so I've got to try and straighten this one back up. This is Pond 3 over here. This is part of the bioremediation canal system. I'm not going to show you that. Now, here's a hardy kiwi, a female hardy kiwi plant here on this arbor. Here we have one of the cherry trees. Two more cherry trees. They're still flowering at this point. It's overcast today. This is one of our Illinois mulberry trees right here. Really love the, and that was a hardwood cutting. I'm sorry, yes, a hardwood cutting from this Illinois mulberry tree here. And that's another, that may be, it's one of the crisp families. I'm not sure that that one's a Honeycrisp apple there. This is Pond 4 over here, and we'll go a little bit further. Again, that's a cherry, some maples in here. This right here is a Kevin, the flavor just sassafras tree there. That's a weeping honey locust right there. This is a Russian mulberry tree right here. These are hostaberry plants next to this one. And I think I'll just go on this side of the driveway first over here. Alright, so I'm really bad. I haven't been doing the pruning that I should be doing. So this is a Red Delicious apple here. Not my favorite. Don't really care for those. I have two of them. There's another Red Delicious there. Here is one of the pears. That's a pawpaw. They start to leaf out later on. Aronia berries there. An apple there. I don't remember what this apple is. Another apple here. Another aronia berry. Another pawpaw. Honey locust here. A pear here. And two aronias there. A Red Delicious apple here. And this is one of our McIntosh crosses right here. So so where we're located right now is up in that way is the forested area that I've been working in the last couple of years, and that's where all the trees are located. Pond 3 is over here. Oh, the sitting gazebo is there. And the honey hut's there, and we'll take a walk around here. I guess how should I do this? All right, so this is a pretty good apple. Not one of my favorites, but a good apple. It is, I think it's a Cox, related to the Cox and the Mac family. And again, I haven't been pruning this one very well. This is a Mac cross here, really nice. And you'll notice, I guess one thing I should say, as I'm walking, so one of the things I would say is that's noticeable on our property, the places that we've been building soil for a while, Now this was all gravel in here before we started building this food forest. And so building good soil on top of the gravel was really very important. And one of the ways of getting the soil to grow, besides using all the wood chips and the cardboard sheet mulching and those things that we did do, and no tilling in here after we first leveled the area out so we could flatten the area out so that we could get this established. And I had to do some sculpting over there for the solar panel arrays over there. Those are rack-mounted solar panels. But one of the big things was mowing very infrequently. And the less frequently, so in the very beginning I'd only mow like twice a year. One, it fed all of the birds and all of the insects, really great for all the bees. And two, it really, when you see that top growth on the lawn or the areas that you're walking through the fields, just imagine what's going on underneath the soil. And then when you cut that off, it sort of sloughs a lot of the root mass down below, and it builds more carbon and more nutrients. And I made videos before on soil succession, how we go from a bacterially dominated soil to a more fungally dominated soil so that your food forest can really thrive in the future. So if you have a really nice manicured lawn, the apple tree that you buy and you put out there in the lawn and you mow right up next to it, that soil structure isn't as beneficial as if you actually let it grow and put some other companion species in there and actually inoculate the roots also with mycorrhizal fungi. So I just thought I'd mention those things. So I did mention this apple. This is one of the Mac crosses here, and this one here. This is another apple here. All of our labels blew off over the years. This is a blackcurrant here. This is one of our peaches that I started from seed here. I've got to get the cages off and do some work. This is another pawpaw in here. These are some of our native high bush blueberry bushes right in here. And I've got lots of pruning to do around in here. And I'll be moving some of these ones out to the new property as well. These, I'm not positive, these could be red currants. No. Yes, these ones are black currants here, this is a cherry tree I just transplanted from the second food forest. Another apple here. Lots of big black currants here. This is the peach last year that I lost. The deer pulled down one of the main branches and it all snapped off, unfortunately. Another apple here, a honey locust in between. And again, I planted things too close together, but this honey locust can be coppiced down. We can go ahead and chop this and chop it and leave the material on the ground to feed the forest floor. Another peach tree here. A couple more black currants. I believe that's a cherry over there that I just transplanted from the second food forest. This is an apple here. Now these are getting down into the red currants down in this area. More high bush blueberry bushes right here, native ones. Another peach tree right here. Cherry tree there. Red currants in here. Ginkgo. This is a male ginkgo tree. I have two male ginkgo trees. More red currants. That is one of our pluots, plum apricot crosses, I believe. That's a different peach. I really don't love those peaches there. This is one of our seedling peach trees here. That's another cross between a plum and an apricot. This produces really great green apples right here. This one does. Another high bush blueberry plant here. We'll just go, before I cross to the other side of this driveway here, this is Canadian hemlock, honey locust here. I've got to prune this one down. High bush blueberry bush. This is one of my sweetest apples here. Let me think. It's a Stark's Crimson. A lot of my trees I initially got from Stark's Brothers. Really, really nice supplier of great trees. Here's one of our pink magnolias here. A locust tree here. A apple tree here. So we have so many different cultivars I can't remember them. Another peach tree right here. High bush blueberry bush right here, and along the bottom we have comfrey in different places, and we have some multiflora rose, so I got to get rid of some of these out of here. This is another really delicious green apple here. This is one of those crossover ones, and you know, I bought some of these crosses, apricot plums, crosses and all, and they just don't work out so well. Honey locust, another apple that I took from the second food forest and brought down here just recently, and another peach tree here, and I covered those ones, the green apple there and all. A cherry tree here, a peach tree here, an apple, no, this is rootstock. So this was one of those crosses that died off, and the rootstock took over, and that's what this one is. So that one, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. It's still a nice looking tree. A white birch here, and down this path here we have, this is one of those crosses as well. They just don't turn out for me here. Delicious green apple here. Here we've got, this is another one of those crosses, apricot plum crosses and all. I've really given those a good try, but they're really susceptible to the fungal diseases and all. This is a pawpaw here, a pawpaw there, a delicious green apple here. I hope this is all showing up okay. There's a volunteer ash tree here. There's another one of those apricot plum crosses here. That's a flowering crab apple there, and an apple there. And for my brother Jim, the honey hut, which is an absolute mess in here now. We have 2 hives that are active, and of course it's cool enough today that you're not seeing too much. But yeah, yesterday when it was nice and warm, the bees were going back and forth. So we have 2 of the hives that have good, pretty well established hives in there right now. They're doing great. Okay, yeah, before we cross over there, just make sure I cover everything up in here. Cover these ones. So this is pond 4, our sitting area here. Haven't been there in a few years, and I've got to do some maintenance work around this pond to clean up the area. I just get behind in things. One of our magnolias here, a couple of flowering, and a couple of peaches in there as well. I really like peaches an awful lot. Peaches, blueberries, sweet apples, some sour apples, not as much with the rest. Over here, so there's the greenhouse over there. There's another, let me get my camera set here. Wait a second. So this is another sassafras here. That's a variegated tulip right there. By the gazebo, there's a linden basswood. This is a Shade Master honey locust, another beautiful honey locust. This is another variegated tulip here. This is the another honey locust. Half of this tree ripped off last year and wiped out most of the trees in this area, well, a lot of the trees in this area. So over here we have, trying to think which pair this one is here. Let me see if I got it written here. This is one of Ahoy Asian pears, and that's one of my favorites. These are a couple other Asian pears right here. I've shown videos of me harvesting the Asian pears. This is an orange quince here, an orange quince here, an orange quince there. What do we have here? What apple is this one? Snow Sweet Apple Dwarf. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm not a big proponent of the dwarfs in our situation here. This is one of our Asian pears. One of our apples that got partially wiped out. One of the peaches. I'm sorry. What? This is one of the apples that got damaged. This is a peach that got damaged. This is one of our largest pawpaws here. A red bud. This was one of the persimmons here. Most of it got wiped right out, ripped right in half. So but I gave it a shot to see. Another Asian pear, an apple. That's an orange quince. Another apple. And down on the floor here, there's a lot of small trees, so pawpaws that have been planted in here. Those were root suckers that we did. That's a high bush cranberry bush here. They're down there as well, but the deer really eat them up when they're small. Another apple here. Another Asian pear. Another apple there. Another apple. I think that might be one of my it's like a Honey Crisp, but it's a little it tastes a little bit different than that. Another apple. And it's this one just got deer rubbed this season, unfortunately, so you can see just how bad that one is. So these smaller ones they really go after. So here's one of the high bush cranberry bushes, and you see them along our living fence. They're 10 feet tall. Man, they're gorgeous in the fall. And the birds love the berries during the winter months. Another apple here. This is another male ginkgo here. A cherry here. A locust tree here. An apple. One of the ones we brought in, and the top of that tree, when it came over, wiped right out and got this small tree. That's a cherry there. A staghorn sumac, an apple, and another apple, two different pear varieties. I think this is another apple, I can't remember. This is a Russian mulberry here, and we'll have to see. Most of these tree tubes, I don't expect them all to make it. I expect a small fraction of them to make it. They're all of our pawpaws, except for there's some Chinese chestnuts over there in those small tree tubes on the ground as well. Okay, now we're going to cross over this swale system here. This is all part of the first food forest. There's an apple here, one of our oaks here, another apple, a maple. That's a Norway maple right there, not a great tree. Another maple over there, and then we get into the almond forest. You may have seen these were all in flower like the peaches are early on, and this is where I just removed a lot of the blueberry bushes in between each one of these. And I still have a lot more work to do over here, but things will work out. So we got lots of almond trees in here. Oh, this pawpaw looks like it's actually starting to leaf out some. So that's an apple there. This is one of the pawpaws here. Small one, the Jovi. An apple there. This is a Russian mulberry here. Another pawpaw here. An oak tree there. An apple. These are all almonds right in here. Another almond there. An apple here. And almond. Those are all almonds there as well. And along the borderline, there's all sorts of different trees there that that I've still got to work around. So that's pretty much it for looking around in our first food forest. I think I covered just about everything except for a lot of the smaller trees. Is this thing still on? Okay. And around the ponds themselves. I'll try and make a video of each one of the food forests. I may actually try and do that today and walk through it and talk about some of the changes. So this was all gravel. We did have horses and wildlife in different habitats around here, but we ended up taking heavy equipment and moving the soil around, so it ended up all being gravel. Lots of cardboard sheet mulching around all of the plants that we planted here. So cardboard went down, and we put lots of wood chips in the area, lots and lots of wood chips in this area. And no swales in this particular food forest, except for this drainage swale, which drains from Pond 5 over here. And so this is on the west side of the property, so that's the west edge of the property. That's Pond 5 right there. I don't want to get too close. The goose is laying on her eggs still there. And this drainage swale goes ahead and heads southeast until it gets in front of the solar panels down there, and then feeds to Pond 6, and that overflows into Pond 7 back in that area back there. So this area, this food forest wasn't really designed with swale systems to maintain the water system. It was all designed to build the soil, let the grass and all the material here grow. I did not put cover crop in here, and we'll be talking about that in a future video when I get to Pond 3. I'm sorry, to the second and third food forest ultimately. So that's it for today's video. This is our first food forest. I'm real behind as far as maintaining the area. I've got a lot more work to do here. I've learned a lot. I don't like the dwarfs as much. I don't like the hybrid crosses, like the pluots, apriplumes, apricot crosses. They don't do as well here. And I like more standard and semi-dwarf. So semi-dwarf works out much better, the rootstock on that in this part of the country. Is there anything else I wanted to say? The vining species, they overgrow. So I have some different vines. I didn't bother going through those, and next to some of the apples behind the honey hut over there. So when we're putting in food forest, we're always thinking about, well, what's beneath the ground, the rhizome layer and all that's there, the root layer. Then we get the bushes layer. We get the sub-canopy trees. We get the upper canopy trees. We get the vines. We get the herbaceous layer. And so I didn't show, so there's garlic around many of the different trees. There's also horseradish, chives. Then we have the different bushes and all, and the comfrey. So those are some of the common things that we've done for some of the guilds around here, but really wanted to break things up and not have too many of the same genera close to each other. So we wanted to mix apples with peaches and plums. Over here we have a lot of almonds over in this area, but we do have pawpaws and apples in between, and as well as other trees and the native canopy trees as well. So I think that covers it over here. We've learned a lot. Would I do it this way again? No, I'd make some changes. And if there's leave comments or questions below if you have any comments or questions. Thanks so much for watching, and have a safe and productive day. Bye-bye now.